The Loft command is a versatile command used to create geometry between enclosed profiles or points, and is most commonly used between dissimilar profiles, such as rectangles and circles, though guide rails and center lines can also be added for increased control. In this lesson, I'll create 4 different kinds of lofts, starting with one between the two profiles here. The command can be enabled by going to the Create menu from the top bar and selecting Loft. I first need to select the profiles to loft between, so I'll click the rectangular profile and the circular profile to generate a preview. I'll rotate around the model, and note that this kind of smooth transition between dissimilar profiles can only be created with a loft. Making adjustments to the loft can be done either by clicking and dragging the loft points along the profile edge, or adding a takeoff weight to the profiles. To add a takeoff weight, I'll go to the Profiles window and click the Connected icon in the Profile 1 row. While a profile is set to Connected, it won't influence the loft with anything other than its geometry. When I switch to Direction, however, a takeoff weight and takeoff angle are applied, causing the loft to bulge around the selected profile. These settings can either be adjusted from the dialog box or in the drawing area. I'll add an outward angle of 25 degrees and increase the takeoff weight to 4. With the newly added takeoff values, the loft now curves above the circular profile and back down to connect the loft. To constrain the loft between the profiles again, I'll switch Profile 2 to Direction as well. I'll give it a takeoff weight of 1.5 and an angle of 25 degrees to give the loft a vase shape, then click OK to finish the loft. By adjusting takeoff weights and angles, I was able to quickly create this shape, but this isn't the most precise method. For curved lofts like this, you can instead use guide rails with exact dimensions. To show this, I'll switch to the tent loft design and enable the Loft command. I'll select the rectangular base as the first profile, and the intersection point of the two arcs for the second profile. Just like with enclosed profiles, the default type, Sharp, will create the loft along the most direct path, and a weight can be added to a point profile by switching to Point Tangent. I'll switch to a front view and zoom in on the point profile. The weight type for a point is tangency weight and makes the loft tangent across the point. I'll use the drag handle to change the tangency weight, and you can see how the influence of the tangency on the loft changes with it. I'll switch Profile 2 back to Sharp, go to the Home view, and enable Rail selection from the dialog box. The Chain Selection checkbox allows for tangent rails to be selected, and can be toggled off only if you want to use discrete sections of the rails. I'll enable it for this loft, however. Select the 4 guide rails, and click OK to finish the loft. To show the other guide type, Centerline, I'll switch to the Ring Loft design and enable the Loft command. I'll select the rectangle and the small circle as profiles. But since they are on the same plane, the loft can't be created as usual. To generate the loft, I'll select the Centerline guide type and click the edge of the larger circle. The loft appears along half the path, and since the center line connects to both lofts in both directions, I can check the closed option to loft the other side at the same time. The final loft aspect I want to highlight is the use of multiple profiles, so I'll switch to the Bottle Loft design and enable the Loft command. Since the order that profiles are selected in determines how the loft forms, profile selection order is the most important consideration in multi-profile lofts. For this loft, I'll select them from the top down. And if a change to the order needs to be made for any reason, it can be done using either the icon in the Profiles window or the tags in the drawing area. I'll click OK to create the loft, And note that since it was created as a single feature, it is much smoother than simply lofting a transition between the circular and rectangular profiles would be. Taking advantage of the Loft command's various features will take some getting used to, but its versatility and ability to create unique geometry makes it a valuable tool for every designer. The rib command adds geometry to a model based on a